Hi, welcome to my video on function notation. This is the first video on quadratic functions. So function notation as a quadratic. Function notation is written as f of x. Notice f bracket x is f of x, h of x, p of x. Notice the bracket p of x. The ordered pairs is written as x comma y, but in function notation is x comma f of x. The f of x is the same as the y. F of x is the y, just another name. So if we want to write these, the y is f of x. This is the f of x, x squared plus 7x minus 8. Y equals x squared, f of x equals x squared. Or we could have f of x equals negative x squared plus 2x. So the f of x, note, is the same as the y. The f of x is the y. And we have here h in terms of t, so we could have the h of t, 2t squared minus 4. The h of t is t squared minus t. So notice when we got the f of x, there's all x's here. When we have the h of t, then we have t's on the right side. Notice a equals x squared plus 4x. So a of x is x squared plus 4x. The p of x is 4x squared. So again, if you have p equals 4x squared, so the p of x is just a function notation, same as a y. And this is explained also in the unit on when we're doing functions notation in terms of a linear. There's a whole unit on linear functions that you can also look at before you look at the unit on quadratic functions. The f of x equals 3x squared plus 4. Find the f of 2. So the f of 2 is, that means x is 2. So the f of 2 equals x is 2. So we put x is 2. We put 2 in the place of x right here. So we get 2 squared is 4. We do PEMDAS first. And we get a 12 plus 4, so we get a 16. The f of x equals 34. Find x. So notice now, this is not the f of x. We have the f of x is 34. So if the f of x is equal to 3x squared plus 4, that means that 3x squared plus 4 is equal to 34. So notice the f of x is 3x squared plus 4. The f of x is 34. That means that 3x squared plus 4 must equal 34. So we're going to solve this to find what x is. So 3x squared equals 34 minus 4. 3x squared equals 30. And we divide by 3 now. So divide each side by 3. So x squared equals 10. So to work this out, I do the square root of x squared equals plus or minus the square root of 10. So x equals plus or minus root 10. Two answers. Again, we're dealing with the quadratics. And we have the f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 15. Find the f of negative 3. So notice the f of negative 3, we're putting x, notice f of x, f of negative 3, x is negative 3, so we're putting a negative 3 in the place of x. Oh, a negative 3. Better do it right. Negative 3 in the place of x. So I have a 9, and that's a negative 3, so that's a plus 6 minus 15. So 15 minus 15 is a 0. Again, the f of x is a negative 3. So negative 3 went into place of x. And sorry about a little confusion here, but that's negative 2, negative 3, which is a 6. Negative 3 squared is 9, which is 0. Notice the reverse b. The f of x equals 20. The f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 15. They're both equal to the f of x, so that means that x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 20. By substitution, they're both equal to the f of x, they're equal to each other. That means the x squared minus 2x minus 15 minus 20 equals 0. X squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. So we got a 1. So there's an x and an x. Factors of 35 to give me a 2. 35 is 7 and 5. 5 times 7 is 35. And they differ to give me a 2, so it has to be a negative 7 plus 5. Multiply negative 35. Add negative 2. So x minus 7 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0. And let's go up here. X equals 7, or x equals negative 5. Two answers. You got a quadratic. Again, notice you had two answers right here. So f of x is the same as a y. So if I put y equals this trinomial, and I put y equals 20, therefore that trinomial will equal 20 because they're both equal to y. So f of x is the y value when you plug the x in. And another one, the h of x is x squared minus 3x. Find the h of negative 2 over 5. So we're putting a negative 2 over 5 in the place of x. Because x is negative 2 over 5. We're subbing it in. So negative 2 over 5 times negative 2 over 5 is 4 over 25. When we multiply here, we get a 3 times 2 is 6, positive over 5. Now we need a common denominator because we're adding fractions. So we're going to make this one 5 and 5. So this is 4 over 25. Common denominator for 25 and 5 is 5, so I've multiplied it by 5 to give me 25. So 6 times 5 is 30. And we have the same denominators. We keep the denominator and add the numerator, so it's 34. So the answer is 34 over 25, or we could go 1 and 9 over 25. We could go that, either or. Now, b, the h of x equals negative 2x. So the h of x is equal to x squared minus 3x. The h of x equals negative 2x. They're both equal to the h of x. Therefore, x squared minus 3x is equal to negative 2x. X squared minus 3x plus 2x equals 0. X squared minus x equals 0. We have a quadratic, so I made it equal to 0. I factor x as common, so x squared divided by x is x. Negative x divided by x is negative 1. So I get x equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. So x is 1. So there's two values of x that make this true, 0 and 1. And another one to do. The more we do, the better. The p of x equals negative 2x squared plus 4x. Find the p of root 3. Root 3, x is root 3, so negative 2 root 3 squared 4 root 3. Again, p of x, p of root 3, x is root 3. So root 3 goes into place of x, root 3 goes into place of x. And I have to work my power first. So root 3 squared, root 3 times root 3 is 3. And 4 times root 3 is 4 root 3. Notice the 4 can't go inside. It's a negative 6 plus 4 root 3. And we can't add these. There's a whole unit that I did on radicals, square roots, simplifying, multiplying, dividing, etc., etc. So that's -6 plus 4 root 3. And p of x is equal to 2x squared plus 4x. The p of x equals 10. Therefore, -2x squared plus 4x equals 10. Quadratic, so I make it equal to 0. Move the 10 over to the left to make it a minus. I can divide by -2 or I can factor it out. I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to factor the -2 out. -2 into 2x, -2x squared is x squared. 4x divided by -2 is a -2x. -10 divided by -2 is -5. And we notice we got to solve this, so that means that we got an x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. The -2 won't count because -2 equal to 0. Can't say it, so here's the quadratic. Now we have to, I could solve this one. I can't, the factors of 5. Notice the product is 5, -5, the sum is 2. The factors of 5 will never give me a 2. That, dealing with the integers and that. So I have to solve this by the quadratic formula or complete the square. Quadratic formula we've done a lot. So let's move the 5 over and complete the square. Half of -2 is -1 squared is 1. So that gives me x. The factorization of this is x minus 1 squared equals 6. So that means that the square root of x minus 1 squared equals plus or minus the root of 6. So x minus 1 squared is plus or minus root 6. So x equals 1 plus or minus root 6. And if you did the quadratic formula, you would get the same answer. So there's two answers, again, as a quadratic. But the factors of 5 will never give me a 2, so I had to use complete the square or quadratic formula. And another one, graph, this is f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now remember, the f of x, you could treat it as a y. So, in our table of values, we could call this one x, and we can call this one y. Or we can call that one x, and we can call this one f of x. It makes no difference. The f of x is your y. So there's your graph. I already had it drawn. Now we need to graph this. Remember, the f of x is the y. So we do a table of values, but what table of values are we going to put in? So we have to do that x equals negative b over 2a. That's the fast way to get the vertex. So we have to do a is 1, b is negative 2, c is negative 3. So it's the negative of a negative 2 over 2 times 1. That's 2 over 2, which is 1. So when I plug that in, back in, I can plug, I'm going to write down the equation. So I'm putting in x's 1. 1 minus 2 minus 3. That's negative 4. So that's the vertex of 1, negative 4. Remember now, I could have wrote down the f of x equals this. I could have had that. And so the f of, I would have put the f of 1. Because x is 1, I did the f of 1 and put a 1 in. So I could have had, and allow me, I could have done f of x equals that equation. But if you leave it, the f of x is a y, and you're familiar with the y, then do that. Because if you do the f of x is the f of 1 that you're plugging in. So you're still doing the same. So I put the y there and work with the y. If you leave the f of x there, Then there's the f of 1, gives you 1 and 1, and that works out the same as the negative 4. So we got a vertex of 1, negative 4. X is 1, y is negative 4, right there. Now we need some more values to graph it. So we can do a table of values on that. Again, I could do x and y, or I can do f of x. So we have to have 1 in the middle of our table. So we put 1, negative 4. So we'll pick a 2, and we'll pick a 0. Let's just pick a couple of them. So we put 2 in the equation now. So we put 2 in, we get 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 3. So I'm putting 2 in the equation. So that gives me 4 minus 4 is 0, so I get a negative 3. So I get a negative 3 on the other side. So if you put 0 in this equation, 0, 0, you get negative 3. So we can plot 2 gives us negative 3, and 0 gives us negative 3. Now I can put a 3 in, and a negative 1 in, and whatever I get for 3 results. So if I put a 3 in, and I go 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 3, 9 minus 6, that's a 9, that's a 3, I get a 0. So if 3 gives me a 0, negative 1 is going to give me a 0. Remember, they're the same as you move away from the vertex. There's the vertex of 4, so you get the same values, 1 to the right and left, and 2 to the right and left. So 3 gives me a 0, and negative 1 gives me a 0. So notice these are x-intercepts. And if we so we got x-intercepts, y-intercepts, we have it all. So there's the parabola that we're drawing. So it's the same with f of x, because the f of x is your y. And we could do with the table of values, we could also do what? That we could let y equal 0, and we work with x squared minus 2x minus 3. Because when we let y equal 0, we'll get the x-intercepts. And so this is factorable. Just another way to get more values. And the factors of 3 are 3 and 1, and there's a negative 3 plus 1. So from here, I can say that x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x is 3. X plus 1 is equal to 0. X is negative 1. So the table of values also gave me that. But by letting y equal 0, I can solve it for x to get the x-intercept. I can also let x equal 0, and I get y equals 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 3. 0 minus 0 minus 3. So by letting x equals 0 in the equation, I will get x is 0, y is negative 3, which is here. So the table of values did it for me, but not always. So by letting y equals 0, you get the x-intercepts. By letting x equals 0, you get the y-intercepts. So there's the graph of the parabola. But the f of x is the same as a y. So if you change your f of x to a y and do your graph, ask your teacher about it. F of x is a y. So click on if you like my video, click on the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that lies on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye-bye.